Well, Tony, we're sat here talking. You've just appointed Steve Evans as Rotherham United's new first team manager. Let's first go into a bit about why you think a change was necessary here at the club.
I think the fans of Rotherham United want what I want. I want success. I want a team that works hard, that gives 110%. I've just seen sort of a space in football which I didn't like. I didn't see that bite, that enthusiasm. I didn't see that Rotherham magic. And I just felt that the last 1.5 seasons, there's not been that battle, that war cry, that want, that desire. And I felt that we need to put that back in. Because I like the fans, I do want people that work for Rotherham United and give the all. And I've not seen it.
You've kind of rendered the second question a bit of a moot point because you've covered all the reasons I imagine you're going to tell me that you feel that Steve Evans is the man for the job, those exact credentials you've just covered there.
Well, I don't know, it's 8-9 years. As we know, Steve Evans was the manager that came as we opened the new stadium, New York Stadium, in 2012. And what a joyride was that. You know, 2 seasons, League Two, League One, Championship. And yeah, I want to get back to the glory days. You know, I've always been impatient, Sam, and I just feel that we're able to compete at a level, and we've got to prove what level that is. And we fight, and we're still fighting for that level. And I think the change had to be because I couldn't see it. You know, since Paul Warne went, something went wrong. What I do know is that I've invested more money into the club, into football, and when you're putting more money in and you're not getting what you think you should get, then that's why changes have to be made.
We'll just delve into the mechanics of how you managed to bring Steve to the club. He's obviously been a part of a big rise down at Stevenage, which for a lot of managers might be difficult to kind of walk away from. What was it about your conversations early doors that you knew Steve and you were going to be the right match again?
We've always kept in touch. Steve and I, you know, I've been to his girl's wedding. I've been to certain parties. We've had dinners. We've always been friends. If you remember when Steve left, it was a mutual consent. You know, we wanted to go one way, and at that time, Steve wanted to go another way. And that's how it's been. But obviously, we've seen football change now. You know, you've got different setups within organisations of football that you hadn't in 2012, but now it's recognised that you've got certain individuals in football that work alongside the manager. Steve's moved along with that time. You know, we've had conversations. He's gone his way, we've gone our way. But I always reflected on the years of Steve Evans, the guy that turned up to a new stadium, and it was like a miracle. It was 2-1, one championship, and the fun and the excitement. And I think I'd forgot that, even though I still kept in touch with Steve. It was basically on a friendship type of mannerism. And I don't know, maybe naively or whatever, but as we've changed from manager to manager, it's always been a board situation where we've talked and we've interviewed many, many managers. And I guess not just the board, but myself thought that there's lots of people similar to Steve Evans out there. And unfortunately, you know, we had Paul Warne. Paul Warne was with us 6 years. I remember going through that time lapse of the 6 years. And we played a part, as Paul did, to make Rotherham the success it became. The reason I made a decision on Steve Evans is that I think in life, when you get new recruitments in, even though the CV may suit, and believe you me, when we've applied for managers in the past, we've had some really top managers that apply for the job. But I think for me, I wanted to circumvent that learning curve. I wanted action. I want it now. And it's at a time where I share the disappointment with Rotherham because I believed, having sustained a season in the Championship, having put in the extra investment, I never ever envisaged that we would be where we are now. So I'm desperate to get back into the Championship, yeah. And I think that made me feel that if we want a person that we knew that had got the energy, got the Rotherham type of mentality, it had to be Steve Evans.
You've quite rightly covered plenty of his positive points there, his credentials, but both Steve and the club have been on different timelines since all those years ago. What has Steve kind of changed as a manager from your initial conversations? Because I'm sure he'll have learnt a lot as well in the time away from the club.
Well, as I said, we've kept in touch. I've watched and looked at how he was carrying out his career. And I think the fact that when Paul Wall went and we selected a young manager and then another manager, and I do feel that the two managers that we've had recently are very intelligent guys. And I do believe that they may be 2, 3, 4 years' time be in the Premiership. These are bright guys. But I can't wait 4 or 5, 3 years. I want it now. And I want success now. In business, investment is about creating wealth. Investment in football is not to do with wealth. It's investing in success. And that's why the government put money into the Olympics. It's not to gain money, it's to gain success. And so that's my motive. And I've lost time and I need to gain time. And I think with Steve, he's not alien. We know what he's about. I've always liked the guy. We've done really well. We're on the same page. And I just felt this was the time to do it. I know his track record. I know what he can do. It's not 8 years ago since I last saw him. So I'm up to date with Steve Evans in all areas. And I think for me, I feel good about what we've done to recruit and get Steve and Paul back into Rotherham.
You mentioned that there, how you feel good about it. Steve's already handed us his programme notes for the weekend and said that when he first met you all those years ago, back in 2012, you ignited a flame inside him for that passion for Rotherham United. Has he done the same this time for you around?
I don't think anything's changed. I've always felt Steve in the background. As I said before, we remember 8 years, 9 years ago, we parted company not because of anything other than difference of opinion with regard to football. That's all it was. So I never doubted Steve with regard to his ability and whatever. I think what ignited me was the fact that the disappointment I've had with the fans for the last 18 months. I didn't get into football to be an also ran. I didn't get into football to be a Man City. Don't take that out of context. But the travel of time, whether it's work or whether it's football, is all about being able to create year on year a success that you're happy with, and it's at a level that the fans feel that we're moving forward. And we know that we've zigzagged too many times. A lot of people will be happy with that. I'm not happy with that. I like the forward gear. I don't like reverse. But we're still here, 16 years on. Ambition's not gone away. We've learnt a lot. We've had the ups, we've had the downs. But what I do like, I like passion, I like drive, I like belief. And while there's passion, drive and belief, there's going to be a good future for Rotherham. And it's the people like Steve Evans and Paul that make things possible. We talk on the same page. So for me, there's no learning curve. And I think I have circumvented this learning curve. I think there'll be a buzz, a fizz, a pop on Saturday, but there'll be lots of Saturdays and midweek games, which will be enterprising. And for me, I'm excited. It's got me back because I was moving away from football. I'm now back in it.
I was going to talk about Steve's emotion on the sideline, his passion that you've touched upon there. Is that kind of how you see a Rotherham United manager, like you've seen it in the past with previous managers? Is that what really fits the DNA?
Well, look at all these top managers, you know, the Man Cities, the Aston Villas, the Arsenals. You name me a top club that hasn't got a passionate manager. You know, you have to feed passion. Passion doesn't just appear, you create it. And the only thing that feeds passion is success. And some people think they've got it, some people will enact. You could see with Steve and these top managers, it's the life. You know, it's more than, you know, a famous guy from Liverpool said it's more important than death. Yeah. It isn't, but I think you can psych yourself to believe that if you lose, it could be the end of the world. I know that's far-fetched, but it's whatever it makes, you know. And for me, people like Steve are few and far between. But as I said, we shared the same things. When I met Steve first time, we hit it off. And as I said, I've been a close friend. I know the family. I know the children. And yeah, it's going to be exciting.
As you say, there's been no need for a getting to know each other process. You've already done all that. You've stayed in touch all these years. You've had him up to your house. I think it was earlier on today. Was it a case of just picking up where you left off and kind of what's your message been to him for between now and the end of the season and just moving forwards in general?
I think I didn't want to go into next season on a, it may be, I think it could be, whatever. I think that in life, instinctively, the feeling of what can be possible is the belief of what's gone before. And I think the fact that Rotherham has shared with me a disappointment for the last 18 months. And I think that bringing in with Steve, the comfort of bringing in Steve, you know you're in for a fight. Steve is a warrior. Off the pitch, on the pitch. But, you know, we all mature in life, and Steve is 8-9 years more experience. He's still got that drive, he's still got that passion. And, you know, I think when he first come, somebody said to me, you're going to be on a roller coaster. Yeah. We want energy. We want a lifeblood that you need in any club. And that's what we've got.
And this isn't a short-term fix in terms of reinvigorating the club, is it? This is a long contract for a manager that you've got a lot of faith in to get the club back to where it belongs.
I think in the past I've made many, maybe very positive, maybe unbelievable retorts on getting into the Premiership, etc. and so forth. I think to do that, and I think because the white paper hopefully will come out, and it's all about running the club responsibly. I think myself and the board, we've run Rotherham responsibility. We're still here, with no debt, yeah? And people say, put more money, you know? And I've seen, you know, where there's certain clubs in League One that owe 180 million, yeah? You know, they're reckoning. It will happen. It won't happen for Rotherham, but will happen for many clubs. And I get a lot of knocks from certain people, from local papers, this, that and the other. Oh, Rotherham again. Get your hand in your pocket, this, that and the other. It's so easy but I've never been a gambler. I'll invest, but I won't gamble. And football gets as near to gambling as it is because there's other clubs out there that's putting money in they can't afford. And we've seen what's happened to certain clubs. But the white paper, when it comes out, will regulate, and it will mean you can only spend what you can in accordance with your income. That day will arrive, and hopefully it's soon. And then Rotherham will have a fair chance. And it will be a more level playing field than it is today. You know, there's lots of clubs today spending money. And, you know, the EFL are looking and thinking, oh my God, it's incredible. We're talking millions upon millions. You know, and they've been to New York. In a budget 3 times more than what the earnings are.
Staying on that topic, how proud does it make you the accounts for all clubs again around the country have come out, and Rotherham United fans notice it every time as well, that just how well they reflect on how well the football clubs run? Is that something that does give you a lot of pride?
It does, but it does. People like Karen Thomas, that has never mentioned, our financial director, that has tight money controls, whatever. So it's not just me, it's people that work with me, that work to make sure there's a tomorrow for Rotherham United. And you need that. It's need that steady. We don't gamble. I don't back horses. I don't gamble. But what I do is invest. And I'm saying, watch this space. Because a lot of clubs in the Championship are spending money they haven't got. The reason why clubs are selling out, because they're trying to get out of the debt. So it is a change. And the white paper for me will bring stability. It'll bring common sense. And it'll allow people not, and this is not just in the Championship or the EFL. You look at the Premiership. They get all that wealth, and yet they're still, you know. But anyway, it's going deeper than what the interview was about. But please, you know, I'm saying, if I talk to Rick Parry, I'd be saying the same.